is a book called At-Tanbih, and he finished that book in 4.5 months. And he also memorized a portion of the book called Al-Muhadhab, which is a famous classical book in the Shafi'i school of thought. And then he continued to read these books, study these books, and being very stingy with his time. On a daily basis, Nawawi rahimahullah would read 12 lessons to his teachers. They would explain those lessons, they would correct him in his understanding, etc., and all different sciences. And from the things that Nawawi was well known for, as I just mentioned, is that he preserved his time. He did not allow his time to be wasted. He did not allow the precious moments of his life to be scattered and to be thrown in the wind, waliyadhu billah, as many of us do on a daily basis. Not only was he stingy with his time, but he was very pious and righteous. He was one who feared Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the things in which he did. When he was still, when he moved, when he walked, when he talked. And the Nawawi rahimahullah, on top of all of this, he was a man who was known to enjoin the good and to forbid the evil. Not only did he learn, not only did he practice, but he also gave advice to his Muslim brothers and sisters to do the same. The virtues of Imam Nawawi rahimahullah, what he did, what he left behind, and his great legacy, they are well known. And there are too many to be mentioned in a 40-minute or an hour session. ولي مشيخة دار الحديث الأشرفية وحج مرتين وزار القدس والخليل عليه وعلى نبينا الصلاة والسلام ثم رجع إلى نوى فمرض عند أبيه إلى أن توفي ليلة الأربعاء في 24 من رجب سنة 6 أو 676 للهجرة ودفن بنوى رحمه الله إلى آخر كلامه رحمه الله تعالى. Upon finishing his studies and mastering what he mastered, Nawawi became the head teacher at the Hadith Center of Ashrafiyya. He made Hajj twice. He visited Jerusalem and he traveled to many other places. When he returned from Jerusalem, he became sick. And he stayed with his father for some time until he died on Wednesday night, the 24th of Rajab, in the year 676 in Noah. So he died in the place in which he was born. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy upon him. This is a brief, humble, rushed biography of Nawawi. It does not give him his true right and the justice that he deserves. I would recommend that you go back to those who wrote on his life in detail. Bidnillah subhanahu wa ta'ala said brief, humble, and rushed. This doesn't give him his haqq. Bidnillah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So hopefully in our next session, we will actually begin the critical analysis of the book. I think we have 5 minutes left. I got the golden hand. Alhamdulillah. If anybody wants to comment or add something or correct something or ask a question, now is the time. And if not, I thank all of you for your respect and your good thoughts of me and your attentive listening and participation. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you the reward and give you the beneficial knowledge. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Naam akhi, tafadal. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
The question is that how Rasul taught us important to balance. Someone that taught us of the government that everything has to be right, but studying Imam Nawawi's life, he slept very, very little. He would sleep on top of it. So how would you advise someone?
Right. Question says, the Prophet ﷺ has taught us about balance, how to be balanced. And he mentions, to support his position of view, the Hadith of Salman al-Farisi, which says, according to what he mentioned, that the Prophet ﷺ said your body has a right, your wife has a right, etc. How or what advice can you give in light of Nawawi's life? Perhaps someone may read his biography and he may say that Nawawi's life was imbalanced. We say first and foremost, the word balance is very, very relative, extremely relative. One man's balance is another man's lethargy. One man's balance is another man's laziness. One person's dedication is another man's obsession. One man's sacrifice is another man's negligence. You're ignoring the dunya. You don't care about the dunya. You have no concern for the dunya, etc. In your eyes, perhaps. But to me or to you, that's my love, my passion. So these terms are relative. They differ from person to person. That's first and foremost. Secondly, there is a general balance that everybody has to have. Your body has a right over you, no doubt. And if you seek knowledge until you die, you can't seek no knowledge because your body is sick, etc. There's a time and a place for everything. However, knowledge of Islam is very, very, very stingy and extremely jealous. I'll give you a narration of one of the most knowledgeable of the tabi'een, from the greatest of the Salaf as-Salih, was Imam az-Zuhri rahimahullah. Az-Zuhri was a pioneer in writing down and compiling and formulating many books of hadith. It is mentioned that Az-Zuhri would sit in his study, he would sit down in his library, and he would have his books spread out in front of him. And he would study, and he would read, and he would memorize. And Az-Zuhri rahimahullah was nothing, and I quote, nothing like us today. He wasn't a person who had to sit and memorize the book and quote. He was a genius. He memorized millions and millions and millions of things. But yet and still, he was mujtahid. He worked hard. And this is another important lesson for all students of the Sunnah. Do not rely on your talent alone. You have to practice and work hard as well. So Zuhri would sit and he would read his books, and they would be spread out in front of him. And the narration says that his wife would come into the study, and she said to him, "Wallahi, inna hadhihi al-kutub ashaddu alayya min thalathi dhara'i." She said, "I swear by Allah, your books are harder on me than me having 3 co-wives. Your books take more time, more of your attention, more of your care than 3 other women." What do you think Zuhri did? Closed his books, put his books up, I'm not going to study anymore? Do you think he would have became Zuhri if he said, you know what, I have to have a balance, my wife has time, so on and so on and so forth? Not saying that there isn't a balance. Not saying that your wife doesn't deserve time or your husband doesn't deserve time. But I'm trying to prove a point. Is that if you want something, anything, let alone Islamic knowledge, you have to be thirsty and hungry. It's not something that you can just do clapping your hands. It's something that you have to be aggressive. And I'm speaking honestly, inshallah, from my heart. If you want knowledge, you have to sacrifice for it. And there are people that are champions, basketball players, football players, great boxers. If you read their biographies, people call them crazy. You're Majnoon, playing basketball in the cold. You're Majnoon, sitting watching that boxing tape for hours and hours and hours. Go study, go work, do a job. Do you think they became champions? No. They ate, they drank, they slept. Sports. Eat, drink, sleep, football. Eat, drink, sleep, basketball. So why, when it comes to Islamic knowledge, we have this huge, gigantic balance? And be careful of the shaitan, because the shaitan can use this word to get you to disregard your studies. It's my advice. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. That topic is a lecture, what? In itself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. I think I've run out of time, and I'm being disrespectful to my elder, Abu Osama. It's not from the etiquettes of student of hadith to speak in the presence of someone more learned and older and more honorable. Jazakumullah khairan.